hair on their backs with maturity. The silverback is the leader and the ultimate protector of his band. The mountain gorilla is most active between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. Most of this time is alternated between foraging, eating, and resting. They are herbivores and consume large amounts of vegetation. Adult males can eat up to 34 kilograms of vegetation a day, while a female can eat as much as 18 kilograms.
This is NTV.
Dakiika ebula bbiri zokka okuwera emu eyakawungezi nkwaniriza nnyo eno ye NTV ku ssaawa emu ku lunaku luno olwokutaano olutandise omwezi omutukuvu ogwa Ramadhan ennaku z'omwezi ya 20 yenze Farida Nakazibwe. Eyaliko President wa America Bill Clinton mutaka mu ggwanga ku bugenyi bwaliko mu mawanga ga Africa ag'enjawulo okuva nga 15 omwezi guno. Clinton yatuuse kuno mu kiro ekikeesezza olwaleero ng'asuubirwa okulambula emirimu egikolebwa ekitongole kye ki Clinton Foundation. Nga tannajja kuno abaddeko mu South Africa, Mozambique, Lesotho, Tanzania ne Kenya. Tugenda kulaga ebibadde Wakiso gy'asiibye olwaleero ne kamukyaza Yoweri Museveni naye sooka ofune emitwe mikulu. Ekifo kye Butambala kikalu Kikulukuunyu kkooti emusudde ettale wa kusasula bukadde. Sheikh Abdul Hakim SSEKIMPI aziikiddwa, abasiraamu bamukungubagidde bangi. Gw'omusango gwa katokadibye gw'okusaddaaka omwana kkooti egusalawo sabbiiti ejja. Yo poliisi yalidde Matereke n'aba FDC mu kusunsulamu abaneesimbawo e Kasese. Kusaawa emu tekunayitako dakiika yonna NTV kusaawa emu. Faizo Kikulukuunyu akitegedde leero nti byateesezzaako mu Parliament ey'omwenda ku lw'abantu b'e Butambala bigize bikomaawo. Kino kiddiridde kkooti ejulirwamu okumufuumula mu Parliament olw'obujulizi obwoleka nti okuwangula ekifo kino yasooka kugulirira balonzi. Kikulukuunyu yennyini ye yeekubira enduulu mu kkooti eno ng'agamba nti teyamatira n'ebyo ebyasalwawo kkooti enkulu eyamumeggesa omusango. Kati alagiddwa okusasula Muwanga Kivumbi ensimbi zonna zasaasaanyizza omusango guno.
Abalamuzi babiri okuli Stella Arachi Amoko ne Remi Kasule be bakkiriziganyizza ne Muwanga Kivumbi nti Kikulukuunyu aliko abantu be yagulirira okusobola okuwangula akalulu k'e Butambala. Kyokka ye omulamuzi Stephen Kavuma yawukanye nabo. Abalamuzi Stella Amoko ne Remi Kasule okusalawo kwabwe kusinzidde ku bujulizi obwaleetebwa mu kkooti nga muno mwalimu n'ettaala y'ekika kya sitima egambibwa okuba nti yaweebwa abakyala mu kitundu kino. Kikulukuunyu era azuuliddwa nti aliko ensimbi z'ewa abalonzi, emipiira eri abavubuka abawala n'abalenzi nga bino byonna bigendereddwamu okumuwa akalulu. Ku nkomerero y'omwaka oguwedde Kikulukuunyu yeekubira enduulu mu kkooti ejulirwamu ng'agamba nti teyali mumativu n'ensalo ya kkooti enkulu. Ono yali alumiriza omulamuzi Kibuuka Musoke gwagamba nti aliko oludda era nga y'ensonga lwaki yamusingisa omusango. Kkooti era eragidde Kikulukuunyu okusasulira Muwanga Kivumbi ensimbi zonna zaayonoonedde mu musango guno so nga n'akakiiko k'ebyokulonda kalagiddwa okuddamu okutegeka okulonda okulala e Butambala.
I have no question, but before the dismissal of the appeal by the majority of 2-1. Mu byonna nti kati tuddayo mu bululu. Ne tugenda okudda mu bululu nga ndina omuntu eyayimirira mu kkooti n'akwata Kulaane n'alimba. N'agenda mu byalo n'agamba abantu nti nabikola naye nalina kisabusabu kingi. N'ekyo kye njagala okugamba abalonzi ti abakulembeze abakyafu abasobola n'okwata Kulaane ne bayimirira mu balamuzi ne balimba ekiseera kituuse abo bave mu byobufuzi bya Uganda.
mu ngeri yemu Robert Okumu kkooti eno yennyini esazeewo nti ye ssentebe omulondo wa disitulikiti y'e Nebbi.
Supporting judgments of Justice Kasule, they have nothing useful to add, and they agree with the reasoning, and the appeal success was a cross appeal first with the cost proposed by the land.
Kino kiddiridde okujulira okwakolebwa William Alenyo nga wakanya okuddamu okubala obululu okwaviirako Okumu okulangirirwa ku buwanguzi.
Unite in one cause of developing Nebbi district.
Mu kusooka William Alenyo yali alangiriddwa ku buwanguzi buno kyokka Okumu yakwakanya ekyaviirako okuddamu okubala obululu. Julius Senkandwa, NTV.
Webale nnyo Julius Senkandwa. Akawungezi ka leero omubiri gw'omugenzi Sheikh Abdulhakim Ssekimpi guziikiddwa mu limbo y'obusiraamu ey'Enkowe oluvannyuma lw'okusalirwa ku mizikiti y'omulyo gw'Ekibuli ne Nakasero abantu gye bamukubiddeko eriiso evvannyuma. Sheikh Ssekimpi yafudde mu kiro ekikeesezza olwaleero oluvannyuma lw'obulwadde bwa sukaali ne pressure ebibadde bimutawaanya ennaku zino.
Sheikh Abdulhakim Ssekimpi yabadde omumyuka wa Supreme Mufti ow'Ekibuli era nga y'omu ku babadde mpajiruwaga mu bukulembeze bw'obusiraamu bw'abasalafiya n'aba bulijjo okusobola okutambulira awamu ng'eddiini y'obuyisiraamu. Sheikh Ssekimpi yajjuluddwa mu bulamu bw'ensi eno mu kiro ekikeesezza olwaleero oluvannyuma lw'ekirwadde kya sukaali ne puleesha ebibadde bimutawaanya. Abakulembeze b'obusiraamu bagambye nti okuvaawo kwa Ssekimpi kuleese eddibu ddene nnyo kubanga obusiraamu we bubadde bumwetaagira mu kuyuuga okw'amaanyi n'enjawukana eziriwo Mungu wamujjululidde.
Bajjukiza nti muteekwa okunywera muteekwa okukuma kino situmanyi tekitambula gye kinaggukira.
Nayogerako n'omwana wange ng'amaze okusiika omukazi we mulimbo n'omwana n'antegeeza nze ndi wa mulimbo. Waliwali. Ate ntya nnyo okumenya ekiraamu bulijjo omuntu nga ngambye ekiraamu nkifiirako.
Obwakabaka bwa Buganda buweerezza obubaka obw'okusaasira nga bunyoleddwa olw'okufa kwa Ssekimpi naddala mu kulwanyisa enjawukana eziriwo mu busiraamu.
Omugenzi ajjukirwa ku lw'obukulembeze bwe obujjudde obukkakkamu naddala mu kukulembera abavubuka abasiraamu abatabuliki. Abadde ayagala nnyo eggwanga ly'e Buganda n'olwekyo obwakabaka bwa Buganda bufiiriddwa nnyo Sekono.
Supreme Mufti Kayongo agambye nti yadde nga abasalafiya bakalubonya eri eddiini y'obusiraamu naye Ssekimpi abadde lutindo lw'amaanyi okunyweza enkolagana yaabwe n'eddiini y'obusiraamu n'asaba abasalafiya okuyigira ku Ssekimpi.
Kyali kyeraliikiriza nti abasalafu n'atambula nabo ntya neesebanga bantu bakolaganika nabo nga basalafu okujjako abatono ennyo mu ngeri yaabwe naye neewuunya okubeera nga bonna balina obuwulize obw'obumu era kyensuubira Sheikh Kibaate Sheikh Amir al-Umma na mwenna abasalafu kuno kyekiseera ekyokwongera okubeera ate abakkakkamu okusinga nga bwe mubadde.
Sheikh Ssekimpi aziikiddwa mu limbo y'obusiraamu ey'Enkowe gye yalama okuziikibwa. Dini Lubowa Sava, NTV Kusaawemu.
NTV Kusaawemu. Eyaliko President wa America Bill Clinton mutaka mu ggwanga ku bugenyi bwaliko mu mawanga ga Africa ag'enjawulo. Clinton atadde essira ku ky'okutumbula ebyobulamu naddala mu baana okubasobozesa okula obulungi. Clinton ali kati mu ggwanga olwaleero aliko emirimu gy'alambudde egiwomeddwamu omutwe ekibiina kye ki Clinton Foundation. Ye kamukyaza President Yoweri Museveni asiimye emirimu emirungi Clinton gy'akoze naddala ku ludda lw'abaana.
Bill Clinton ne muwala we Chelsea basookedde ku ssomero lya Building Tomorrow erisangibwa Ejjita mu muluka gw'Ebuwambo mu disitulikiti y'e Wakiso nga lyerimu ku masomero 15 agakazimbibwa wansi wa kaweefube w'okwongeza ku muwendo gw'amasomero ga bonna basome era nga gazimbibwa mu bifo abaana we baalinga basomera mu miti. Eno abaana essanyu katono libayuze okufuna ku mukisa okwerabira kweyaliko omukulembeze wa America n'abamu okumukwata mu bugalo. Enesira Clinton alisiza ku kutumbula omutindo gw'abaana mu bigambo by'enjigiriza.
Thank you very much, President, to visitors.
Eyo gyavudde n'ayolekera olw'Entebbe ku kitebe ekivunaanyizibwa ku kubonyesa eddagala mu ggwanga ng'abadde atongoza kaweefube ow'enjawulo ow'okumalawo endwadde mu baana ezisobola okuwonyezebwa. Mu ndwadde eziteekeddwako essira mwe mubadde omusujja, okuddukana ne lubyamira. Eno abaddeyo n'omukulembeze w'eggwanga ng'era asiimye kaweefube gwakoze mu Uganda.
We are told that ekiddukano nga kitawanya bannange. Mbwe ekiddukano kisobola okugemwa. Kulwaki mwasirika ku kintu kino? Tulaba nti abasawo bano balina ettima. Oba tebafa ku mirimu. I'm speaking some Latin language.
I think the Ministry of Health is doing everything it can do to tear away those obstacles so that every child's life can be saved.
Ku baana omutwalo gumu mu 1000 abafa buli mwaka mu ggwanga endwadde ezisobola okuwonyezebwa singa kaweefube ono ateekebwa mu nkola, abaana abasukka mu 85 be bajja okuba nga basimattuka okufa. Irene Namyalo, NTV.
Eggulo poliisi yeezobye n'abawagizi b'ekibiina ki FDC ababadde bawerekeddeko munnaabwe Winnie Kiza okwewandiisa okuddamu okuvuganya ku kifo ky'omubaka omukyala owa district y'e Kasese. Kiza yagibwa mu Parliament omwezi oguwedde oluvannyuma lwa kkooti okusazaamu okulondebwa kwe nga egamba nti kwalimu emivuyo. Wabaddewo kacyankalano mu kibuga Kasese era byonna omusasi waffe yabyose buliro.
Finally, I wish you success.
Oluvannyuma lwa Winnie Kiza okuwandiisibwa, abawagizi ba FDC bayisizza ebivvulu okuviira ddala ku kitebe ky'ebyokulonda e Kasese era nga babadde baagala beetooloola ekibuga kyonna wabula poliisi n'ebagaana. Abasirikale ba poliisi abalwanyisa obwegugungo baayiriddwa ku buli luguudo lwonna oluyingira mu kibuga ky'e Kasese, bwe batyo ne batangira abantu bano okweyongerayo. Kino kyajje aba FDC mu mbeera, abamu ne batandika n'okwerekereza poliisi ebigambo omwabadde n'ebisoomooza. Naye nga bwe bagamba nti ow'amaanyi aba w'amaanyi, poliisi bano yabalinnye ku nfeete era okukakana nga mmotoka zaabwe, pikipiki ko n'ababadde ku bigere bakyusizza ne badda ebwera. Eno Winnie Kiza gye yeeweredde okukuba muna NRM Rehema Muhindo ekigwa mu kalulu kano n'okusinga ku mulundi guli.
No amount of intimidation is going to stop the people of Kasese from casting their vote the way they want to vote it. Their vote is clear, it's for Winnie and no one else.
Kiza okugibwa mu Parliament kyaddirira Rehema Muhindo okuwaba mu kkooti ng'agamba mbu okulondebwa kwe kwalimu vulugu mungi era bw'etyo kkooti kwe kusalawo okulonda kuno kuddibwemu.
Oli ku NTV ku ssaawa emu. Omulamuzi wa kkooti enkulu e Masaka Mike Bwita nga 26 omwezi guno lwagenda okuwa ensala ye mu musango gw'okusaddaaka omwana oguvunaanibwa omusuubuzi Godfrey Kajubi. Baseesa ba kkooti ababiri bawadde amagezi nti Kajubi yejjeerezebwe kubanga tewali bujulizi bumala kumuluma. Bano bakubye ebituli mu bujulizi obwaweebwa omusamize Moses Katerega ne mukyala we abalumiriza Kajubi nti yasalako omwana Joseph Kasiri omutwe mu maka gaabwe ku kyalo Kayugi e Mukungwe. Munnamateeka wa Kajubi Fred Kamugunda eggulo yasabye kkooti eyimbule omuntu we nga yeesigama ku bujulizi obwaweebwayo poliisi obwali tebukwatagana bulungi. Omusango guno gwaddibwamu okuwulirwa oluvannyuma lwa gavumenti okwemulugunya ku ngeri gye gwakwatibwamu okusooka ekyaviirako Kajubi okwejjerezebwa mu 2010.
If it is true, he knew the deceased had been killed the previous.
Why not in...
These witnesses were actually pitied.
Eddakiika ziri 13 eziyise ku ssaawa emu bwe bali nnyo okubeera naffe kaseera kano tugenda kuwummulamu katono ddala tovaawo bwe tudda bino bimu ku biri mu kitundu ekyokubiri. Abasimatuse ejjinja erya igulu ku Sembaali balulojja, abalala balabuddwa. Abantu ensi bw'egenda bakaluubirira n'amateeka batandika okugeerabira. Tosubwa Zungulu.
This is NTV.
Kwera embeera y'abasajja bano
essuubi nga lyakuggwamu mama.
Bano abasajja abanaatera n'okujja kusigiriza ffe ekiro basituleko emiwumbo gy'emmere bagitwale.
Sogera byange kibanda bana bagamba bweyagala nkubulira ebyange jatugenda emyanzi
mpulira banyumya babeera bakujerega waliko omusawo w'ekinnansi South Africa baba bakujerega obituufu
baba banjerega oyo mufere mubbi yennyini yeetaaga miggo omuntu wa bulijjo tomuzannyirangako abeeranga dormant volcano
bwemba mukkiriza nina takuwa mugiyita
ate takuwa gobeera mugoberezi tolowooza ndi buli mulimo oyogerera omusiraamu singa naakubuuza nti Katonda yagamba atya
oba oli pasita ng'okyawa olimba obba oyenda olina abakazi basatu please heaven is waiting for you. One day you'll pay and soon your time is out.
Otiisa mmoni.
Sitiisa. Nkubuulira Yesu talimba.
Ebintu mbimala mulundi gumu. Kati what I love peace.
Gwokola byo.
Wegase n'omusajja mutwale mabi.
I'm knocking. A message yali ku the last piece of a jambia yali muhadi wa yo.
No, bloody way, holy moly.
We've just met. How can I be your friend? Mr. Rashmond. Okuzimba nyumba nga kintu kizibu nnyo banange mugumire mu bupangisa. Come.
I'm called Olar Oton. There's no English name. Just like resistance, Yakazol.
Yeah, blame you. You have option of getting international husband. Why do you get it?
New time.
A message.
Ice, baby. Alright, stop, collaborate and listen. I sit back. Oh, give me hope, Joanna, give me hope, Joanna, give me hope, Joanna, for the morning come, give me hope. With different colors, one people, different colors, one people.
You got to know when to hold up, know when to fold up. Know when to walk away and know when
Nasinzia nikikuwaza miaka rudi miaka nenda nasinzia nikikuwaza
Chichi. What's life? Is life ugly?
Is it spiritual?
Isn't it loved?
And above all, isn't life really drama?
Find out what life is and what it can be every Thursday at 11 p.m. with repeats on Friday and Sunday at 12:30 p.m.
Fieldwork has been defined by different scholars. Some think it is an art.
Kusawe mu mawulire amalala abantu b'embaale balabuddwa ku gayinja aganene agayinza okwongera okuyigulukuka ne gabagwira. Kino kiddiridde abantu abali mu 12 abasimattuse oguyinja ogunene ogwawamattuse ku lusozi ne gugwira ennyumba yaabwe. Bano n'okutuusa kati bakyakirojja.
Ababadde mu nnyumba muno nga bawerera ddala 12 bakyalunyumya era tebannakkiriza nti bonna baavuddemu nga balamu wadde oguyinja guno gwekase ku nnyumba yaabwe. Banyumya nti zaabadde ssanga 3 ez'ekiro kwe kuwulira eddoboozi ery'amaanyi ery'ejjinja eryabadde ligudde ku nnyumba yaabwe olwo ne babuna emiwabo mu kugezaako okutaasa obulamu. Geoffrey Mulumba nnyini maka gano agamba guno mulundi gwa kusatu ng'amayinja gawamattuka ku lusozi ne gagwira ennyumba ye kyokka talina waakudda. Aba Red Cross abazze okudduukirira ab'amaka gano bagamba nti ennyumba endala 50 ze ziri mu katyabaga k'okukuwa amayinja oba okubuutikirwa ettaka singa baba tebasenguddwa mu bwangu.
Tergoni zone kuno kuliko kuraka kuva Manafa, Bududa, Mbale, Kapuchorwa, Kwen kuliko kunesirongo kuliko kuraka ya manyi kano buno jaribu buno usambambiro kadibwerere naye kuba we natonya omwezi gw'omunana tusubira nti tugenda kufuna obubenje bw'amanyi nnyo okuva ku takali kutuka bweriti.
Akulira emirimu gya gavumenti mu disitulikiti agamba nti bano baakujira nga batwalibwa mu ssomero eribalinaanye ng'enteekateeka y'okusengula abantu bwegenda mu maaso.
Omuyimbi omu yagamba nti okuwangaala kuno kutulabisa ebintu mwawulira nga bakwata abakazi okuva emyaka gyedda naye ennaku zino eri abasajja abafuuse amawano nga kati bakwata ebisolo omuli ente n'ebinyonyi omuli enkoko. Omuvubuka omu Emubende yakubye ensi ensonyi lwakwegulira linnya mu kukwata enkoko z'oku kyalo. Ensi bw'etuukaawo abasaba baba balina okwongeramu amaanyi weewaawo nga nabo balina ebibatawaanya ennaku zino nga okubba kw'ettaka. Zungulu.
You come to the center.
Yawuta supu w'abannansi mu katale.
Yali enkoko embisi bwayita mu kamooli.
Kasile kabusindisi binne bali wali erwa.
Zungululu. Eno wiki ebadde yakugabana zi district. Ab'e Makindye, ab'ensangi mu Busiro n'ab'e Kalangaalo. Bannange nga mwalabye ne kuno tebabajjukidde kuba wa district. Leero buli kyalo kijja kufuna district. Naye baawo twogeddemu bubi. Nosanga district eyo nga bakansala bali eyo beerumaaluma ebitaliimu abalala ne balwana n'okulwana kwegamba n'otunula n'okoowa. Yenno waje bitali n'ab'e Kampala no basiiba mu nnyombo na kumenya nzigi. Ya ono Jennifer Musisi ajja kutubuulira kye yeeyita wano. Kooti neemulagira gulewo woofiisi y'ettaka ate yassaako minyolo mirala. Kansala Matiriiko wamajjayo ennyondo yaffe. Matiriiko vaayo nze oluggi nsambe lusambe. Agenda nno okusamba oluggi kansala asibye ne suspenda. Tujja kuzisamba teri bya Musisi kutuggalira bweru. Oyo bw'avaawo n'addayo waka n'abuuza omwana we ndi lwaki bakugobye ku ssomero ng'akaana kaddamu nti daddi bangobye n'adda embuuka kikomera. Abaana bayigira ku mmwe mumenya enzigi muvuma abakulu yeki mu Uganda wano ekitakolebwa. Osanga omusajja agoba ente ku ttale n'enkoko byonna ng'abikakokola omukwano. Muvubuka kiki ekikuliko ekikutuma okukwata enkoko z'abandi? Akinsumbuwa naye kati. Kiki ekikusumbuwa? Ekikyamu. Kwegamba ekikyamu ky'ogamba kikujjira bugizi n'obuukira enkoko. Kinzigira bugizi. Kati olwo bwe kijja. Nninya ku mutwe. Ekinsumbuwa kinkozesa kyesaagala. Naye waliwo ne lwe wakwata embuzi. Kyali kyakankwata awo. wali okutteyo kunte ojja olaga amaanyi okwata embwa olwojja kutegeera lwakitemera mayembe. Abasumba ne bafaaza bagamba bulijjo nti mugoba emizimu mugende Emitiana muyambe omwana oyo muve Kampala mu kulwanira ettaka. Moyo wange Bakristu baganda bange nga tukkirira okulaba agabbi g'ettaka twenywereze mu Kristu kubanga gandibanga galina amajambiya ne gatutema. Saba Kristu baliwa bano abeesenza ku ttaka. Gwe gwayamba agabbi wano mbu okuuma ttaka tukube tukube bamubuuza emigere gyamulidde dda. Seeka si mwe babbi b'ettaka be tunoonya wano okimanyi lino ettaka ly'Abakatuliki. Nkusoga ekiti abadde ki? Abakatuliki nabo ekiseera kituuse balwanire ebyabwe. Abantu nga banyaze ebintu bya kereziya. Ayi Bikira Maria mama ow'ekisa ojjukiranga obwedda n'obwedda ababbi b'ettaka sibaawuliranga. Kaakano ky'ekiseera ky'okubakuba emiggo n'okuzimbulula ennyumba zaabwe. Awo bw'obanga gwe mubbi osabirawo essaala ey'okubonerera ate n'omala n'osaba n'ey'okukkiriza okufa. Kati oba faazi yaduumidde ekikwekweto yeekweseewa. Linejje lya Yesu terikuba miggo lireruka. Abooluganda mukuŋŋaane tufune omukisa ogusembayo tuwulire ate abanaddamu okwesenza ku ttaka wano. Katonda omuyinza wa buli kintu.
Mutumbulemu katono ddala tovaawo bwe tudda bya mizannyo.
This is NTV. This is NTV. This is NTV. This is NTV.
Fieldwork has been defined by different scholars. Some
mu mizannyo olwaleero mu mpaka za SECAFA Kagame Cup ezindira Dar es Salaam mu Tanzania olwaleero ttiimu ya URA emaze emipiira gyayo egy'ekibinja gyonna n'obuwanguzi bwekubye Ports okuva e Djibouti golo 3-1. Sam Mpoza omusasi waffe ali Tanzania.
Uganda Revenue Authority Football Club emazeko emipiira gyayo egy'ekibinja mu mpaka za SECAFA nga tewanguddwamu oluvannyuma lw'okukuba Potsi ya Djibouti olwaleero. URA omupiira eguwangudde ggoolo 3-1 nga ggoolo zino ziteebeddwa abazannyi Augustine Nsumba, Sam Mubiru ne Robert Ssentongo. Ate ggoolo ya Potsi yokka gy'eteebye mu mpaka zino eteebeddwa omuzannyi Gassama Jean Bosco. URA olukulembedde ekibinja A kapiteeni wa ttiimu Simon Masaba n'aweera nti ttiimu yonna enejja yebejja mu luzannya lwa quarter final.
Mu East Africa mpira kyenkana gumu gwawukanamuko katono obufuzi oba oba management naye nga abasambi twetololera wamu kale tekujja kuba nnyo gwanjawulo na mipiira mirala katulina kukwata nga emipiira mirala tukikwata.
Ku lwa NTV akawungezi wano ku Tanzania National Stadium Dar es Salaam, ze Sam Mpoza.
Abadde Sampoza webale nnyo okubeera ku NTV eddakiika ebulemu yokka okuwera emu n'ekitundu awo bwennyini wengenda okukoma ojjako baagaliza weekend ennungi n'ekisiibo ekirungi bannaffe abasiraamu mubeere bulungi era mweraba.
This is NTV. This is NTV. NTV. This is NTV.
Today on Showcase Uganda, we continue our sojourn through the profoundly beautiful Eastern Uganda. A major tourist attraction in the eastern part of Uganda are the Sipi Falls. In all their wonder, the falls are an incredible profusion of nature's ironic simplicity and blended magnificence, and are often described as perhaps the most romantic falls in Africa. Through Sipi village, the falls are accessible via a network of well-maintained local trails, but be warned that the landscape is both steep and hilly. In fact, the slopey landscape, adorned by typically African huts, an authentic link to the magnificence and profusion of African beauty. After a long and tiring day of trekking through the forest trails in and around Sipi village, Lakam Lodge, just off the main road, has plenty to offer. The lodge provides the most incredible view of Mount Elgon, as well as the fabulous plains of eastern and northern Uganda, making the visit memorable and a pleasant place to spend a few days unwinding. The lodge is built on a rock within roaring distance of Sipi Falls, and the cool water sprays and breeze from the falls create a perfect environment for its visitors. For those who want a taste of traditional African homesteads with their architectural grandeur of harmony, the cottages are a perfect resting place. The cool and stunningly beautiful African huts are situated in a prime position overlooking the falls and the plains that roll as far as the eye can see. There are also soothing flowing streams of water beneath the cottages. After a day out in the wild, there are welcome Western-style bathrooms which are strategically located to give visitors a scenic view of the valley while taking a shower. Relaxed in an atmosphere which is both friendly and conducive for overnight and long-stay visitors. The lodge is run very efficiently by Ugandans and has a laid-back and calming atmosphere. Culinary delights range from real Ugandan local dishes to exotic ones, with orders placed well in advance by guests before meal times. The theme at Lakam Lodge is specialized and personalized service, with the size of the facility complementing the same. There are various other small hotels, lodges, restaurants and campsites within and around Sipi Falls that also offer accommodation. These are Sipi Rest Camp, the Crow's Nest, Go Down Bar, all pocket and the type of travel experience expected. The most magnificent feature, however, in this part of Uganda is Mount Elgon. A good tarmac road leads up to one of the national parks, Mount Elgon National Park. The striking magnificence of flora on this vast scale, a ready reminder why Uganda truly is the pearl of Africa. In 1993, the 1,445 square kilometers which make up Mount Elgon National Park is primarily concerned with conserving and restoring the original forest that once covered the slopes, enabling the mountain to continue its essential role as a major watershed area. Although many animals are present in the park, past harassment by poachers has made them extremely shy, and most parts of this park are termed as once encroached land. The park also abounds with a variety of rare and beautiful flowers. However, the growing population around the park has led to detrimental consequences like continued poaching and deforestation.
They had their own land, public land, so they
While on your walk, you can enjoy the large number of plants and animals that coexist here. The vegetation here has adapted to the extreme weather conditions in bizarre ways, as you'll clearly observe when you see the giant trees common in this area. It does get quite chilly under all the thick foliage, so a warm top would be advisable. When Showcase Uganda returns, our journey continues to the depths of eastern Uganda. Today on Showcase, profoundly beautiful eastern Uganda. A major tourist attraction in the eastern part of Uganda are the Sipi Falls. In all their wonder, the falls are an incredible profusion of nature's ironic simplicity and blended magnificence, and are often described as perhaps the most romantic falls in Africa. Through Sipi village, the falls are accessible via a network of well-maintained local trails, but be warned that the landscape is both steep and hilly. In fact, the slopey landscape, adorned by typically African huts, all demonstrate an authentic link to the magnificence and profusion of African beauty. After a long and tiring day of trekking through the forest trails in and around Sipi village, Lakam Lodge, just off the main road, has plenty to offer. The lodge provides the most incredible view of Mount Elgon, as well as the fabulous plains of eastern and northern Uganda, making the visit memorable and a pleasant place to spend a few days unwinding. The lodge is built on a rock within roaring distance of Sipi Falls, and the cool water sprays and breeze from the falls create a perfect environment for its visitors. For those who want a taste of traditional African homesteads with their architectural grandeur of harmony, the cottages are a perfect resting place. The cool and stunningly beautiful African hut in position overlooking the falls and the plains that roll as far as the eye can see. There are also soothing flowing streams of water beneath the cottages. After a day out in the wild, there are welcome Western-style bathrooms which are strategically located to give visitors a scenic view of the valley while taking a shower. Relax in an atmosphere which is both friendly and conducive for overnight and long-stay visitors. The lodge is run very efficiently by Ugandans and has a laid-back and calming atmosphere. Culinary delights range from real Ugandan local dishes to exotic ones, with orders placed well in advance by guests before mealtime. The theme at Lakam Lodge is specialized and personalized service, with the size of the facility complementing the same. There are various other small hotels, lodges, restaurants and campsites within and around Sipi Falls that also offer accommodation. These are Sipi Rest Camp, the Crow's Nest, Go Down Bar. Depending on the size of one's pocket and the type of travel experience expected. The most magnificent feature, however, in this part of Uganda is Mount Elgon. A good time of is most recently formed national parks, Mount Elgon National Park. The striking magnificence of flora on this vast scale, a ready reminder why Uganda truly is the Pearl of Africa. Gazetted in 1993, the 1,445 square kilometers which make up Mount Elgon National Park is primarily concerned with conserving and restoring the original forest that once the mountain to continue its essential role as a major watershed area. Although many animals are present in the park, past harassment by poachers has made them extremely shy, and most parts of this park are termed as once encroached land. The park also abounds with a variety of rare and beautiful flowers. However, the growing population around the park has led to detrimental consequences like continued poaching and deforestation.
They had their own land, public land, so they had to come in this forest reserve for cultivation. And as they continue cultivating, they adapted to set now.
In a bid to curb the same, community-based programs supported by the Uganda Wildlife Authority have been enacted to protect the sanctity of the forest. Vehicles are not allowed within the main national park, so the best and only way to enjoy the park is on foot and at a small fee that differs for residents and foreigners. Uganda Wildlife Authority wardens are on hand to guide a fact-filled trek, and visitors can choose to take the short or long. While on your walk, you can enjoy the large number of plants and animals that coexist here. The vegetation here has adapted to the extreme weather conditions in bizarre ways, as you'll clearly observe when you see the giant trees common in this area. It does get quite chilly under all the thick foliage, so a warm top would be advisable. When Showcase Uganda returns, our journey continues to the depths of eastern Uganda. Today, on Showcase Uganda, we continue our sojourn through the profoundly beautiful Eastern Uganda. A major tourist attraction in the eastern part of Uganda are the Sipi Falls. In all their wonder, the falls are an incredible profusion of nature's ironic simplicity and blended magnificence, and are often described as perhaps the most romantic falls in Africa. Through Sipi village, the falls are accessible via a network of well-maintained local trails, but be warned that the landscape is both steep and hilly. In fact, the slopey landscape, adorned by typically African huts, all demonstrate an authentic link to the magnificence and profusion of African beauty. After a long and tiring day of trekking through the forest trails in and around Sipi village, Lakam Lodge, just off the main road, has plenty to offer. The lodge provides the most incredible view of Mount Elgon as well as the fabulous plains of eastern and northern Uganda, making the visit memorable and a pleasant place to spend a few days unwinding. Within roaring distance of Sipi Falls, and the cool water sprays and breeze from the falls create a perfect environment for its visitors. For those who want a taste of traditional African homesteads with their architectural grandeur of harmony, the cottages are a perfect resting place. The cool and stunningly beautiful African huts are situated in a prime position overlooking the falls and the plains that roll as far as the eye can see. There are also soothing flowing streams of water beneath the cottages. After a day out in the wild, there are welcome Western-style bathrooms which are strategically located to give visitors a scenic view of the valley while taking a shower. Relax in an atmosphere which is both friendly and conducive for overnight and long-stay visitors. The lodge is run very efficiently by Ugandans and has a laid-back and calming atmosphere. Culinary delights range from real Ugandan local dishes to exotic ones, with orders placed well in advance by guests before meal times. The theme at Lakam Lodge is specialized and personalized service, with the size of the facility complementing the same. There are various other small hotels, lodges, restaurants and campsites within and around Sipi Falls that also offer accommodation. These are the Crow's Nest, Go Down Bar, all depending on the size of one's pocket and the type of travel experience expected. The most magnificent feature, however, in this part of Uganda is Mount Elgon. A good tarmac road leads up to one of Uganda's most recently formed national parks, Mount Elgon National Park. The striking magnificence of flora on this vast scale, a ready reminder why Uganda truly is the Pearl of Africa. Gazetted in 1993, the 1,445 square kilometers which make up Mount Elgon National Park is primarily concerned with conserving and restoring the original forest that once covered the slopes, enabling the mountain to continue its essential role as a major watershed area. Although many animals are present in the park, past harassment by poachers has made them extremely shy, and most parts of this park are termed as once encroached land. The park also abounds with a variety of rare and beautiful flowers. However, the growing population around the park has led to detrimental consequences like continued poaching and deforestation.
They had their own land, public land, so they had to come in this forest reserve for cultivation. And as they continue cultivating, they adapted to set now.
In a bid to curb the same, community-based programs supported by the Uganda Wildlife Authority have been enacted to to protect the sanctity of the forest. Vehicle and only way to enjoy the park is on foot and at a small fee that differs for residents and foreigners. Uganda Wildlife Authority wardens are on hand to guide a fact-filled trek, and visitors can choose to take the short or long treks through the forest area. While on your walk, you can enjoy the large number of plants and animals that coexist here. The vegetation here has adapted to the extreme weather conditions in bizarre ways, as you'll clearly observe when you see the giant trees common in this area. It does get quite chilly under all the thick foliage, so a warm top would be advisable. When Showcase Uganda returns, our journey continues to the depths of eastern Uganda.
This is NTV. This is NTV.
Good evening to you all. Tonight we're here at the Sheraton Kampala Hotel in one of the most amazing suites that you can find in Kampala. We are just us, gentlemen. I can almost say welcome back. It's been a long time since we were just us. Yeah,
simply us. I've seen a few requests on on Facebook.
Yeah. And as always, we listen to you. A lot of you have said, we want them back just as they are. Today, we're just us. And today, we are discussing unique relationships. Now, that is a very broad topic, and I'm sure you're wondering, what are unique relationships? But stay with us, and you will know. Colin, have you ever been in a relationship with a vulnerable woman?
I am in shock.
Yeah.
I mean, he's almost married, and he's married, and I am the guy who's dating vulnerable women. Just define for me what you mean by vulnerable.
When I talk about a vulnerable woman, I want to narrow it down to a single mom. I understand. I stand to be corrected that you are in a relationship.
Very corrected.
Yeah, all right. You will correct me. Understand you are in a relationship with a single mom. How is that for you? Is it different from dating just a girl who's got no children?
Peter, cut.
Colin is speechless. Speechless. For the first answer the question. Colin, answer the question.
Peter, yes, it is quite different. It's always quite interesting because it takes a different mindset, right? You've got to in more ways than one. You've got to man up, and always you have to be sensitive to the fact that from the time I was about 25, I always said I want to get kids. I want to get kids. And I guess what they say about the secret, the universe then starts giving you what you're willing for. So they say dating, somehow just accidentally and never intentionally just end up bumping into all these girls who are single moms. And it happens, it's a trend, it's a reality of our current society. So yes, it does take a little more doing, a lot more selflessness.
Okay, now you've used a very interesting term, selflessness. Could this be owing to the fact that when you're dating a single mom, you're actually in a relationship with more than just the woman, but you've got her children, you've got her ex, and then there's the whole family around her.
Okay. Or exes for that matter.
Or exes for that matter.
Ransom, are you fielding this one?
What?
Dating single moms.
Look, for me, I think it would obviously need to be it can't be just a fun thing unless the woman is a good time girl and doesn't really bring you into relationship with her kids. But if there's any level of seriousness in the relationship, I would imagine you would need to be very, very careful about how you play it and how the kind of person you portray to these kids and what is their relationship with their father, and how do they relate to you in being this person that's coming and taking over a role that might have been played by someone else in the past. A child and was maybe never married, so never lived with the thing, so the kid has only known the one parent.
Yeah.
I think what might be more difficult is where you have a child who's a little bit more grown up, who's had a relationship with their father, and the relationship has broken down, and here comes this other person who in the child's mind might be trying to replace their father, and that's something that you can't do. You can't replace someone's father. So it really becomes a relationship between a whole bunch of people, depending on the circumstances of the woman and how many children she has, and whether the kids have grown up with or without their father.
Yeah. Now there is also the other external factors in terms of in-laws, because they have a direct relationship with this woman through the children. So you come in on the other side. How does that, because as it is in-laws, your own in-laws are difficult enough. Now you've got somebody else's in-laws to deal with as part of the package. Doesn't that just spin everything out of control?
Look, situation like that, if two people are serious about each other and they decide, look, we're going to make a go of this relationship, then that is exactly what it is. It's two people making a go of a relationship, I don't think that it should. Yes, there are people who will get involved, and I know many men want. If you get divorced, you don't want that woman to have any relationship with anyone else because you're like, oh, but my children or my child, I'm not having another man. You know,
raise my child.
Yes, but you're going to get married and have some other woman come in and, you know, have your child being raised by another woman. So it's a, I don't know, it's a dilemma, but people just need to decide between the two of them, this is what we're going to do. And if your family loves you, they should be able to go with the decisions that you've made and support you in that, no matter how difficult that may be.
I'm going to use my famous term, which in theory, yes.
This is perfect.
Yes, but in reality, it's not that simple.
It isn't. But I'm going to come back with the same answer that I always come when you say that. Yeah. It is reality for a whole lot of people, and a whole lot of people make it work. Mm-hmm. So that is reality. It's just the choices that we make, how we're going to respond and react to those situations. It's very easy to get upset about a woman that you're divorced with having a man in her life and now saying, yeah, but this child now is going to be influenced. But you know what? A lot of men abdicate their responsibilities, leave the child with the woman, go gallivanting, having their own thing, and basically not being a father to that child. And then as soon as you get the feeling that this woman is moving on with her life, it's issues. Oh, but my son, and you know, we can't, or my daughter, we can't. I can't have some other man coming there when my daughter is there. You know, it for a lot of people. What I always try and do is try and look and say what is possible, and it's just about choices.
Joseph, would you date a single mom?
Wait. Not would you? Ask him what it was like
when he did.
He's looking for a partner.
What's the matter with you?
We are musketeers.
Okay, first and foremost, I'm going to be very clear. It does not happen. I'm still finding the terminology interesting. Vulnerable relationships.
Yes.
But unique relationships. Okay, because I was thinking vulnerable groups are different. Maybe young, old, and disadvantaged and stuff like that. Anyway, I can't say that's a quality I'm looking for. That I want someone who has a child. But at the end of the day, I cannot say I can't date someone with a child. I've heard in Nigeria, when a woman is pregnant, they are hit on even more because it is a sign of fertility. So that's a good thing. There's already proof for those who want to test. To test
the waters.
There is already proof that she can have children. So that. To answer the question very, very directly, yes, I can. I can, because I don't think takes away the things that you would have looked for in a woman. If she's a good person, she's still a good person. Maybe a relationship did not work out. I mean, what can you do about that if you like each other enough? Because the mistake that we make when we are looking for partners is to create boxes and start to tick them. And a lot of the time, the boxes are totally wrong. Yet we should just be. Yet for us, we say we want beautiful people. We want people who work. All those are not as important. Yeah.
You know, but I think a question that we might then want to ask. I know we've said dating, and a lot of people have a very distinct line between dating and marriage.
Yeah.
So, would you then marry a person that has all this luggage? Because there is luggage. And Peter asked about it earlier on. There is another parent that will come and might be at odds with things that you want to do in your own home. Yeah. And because their child is there, wants to come and impose some of those the rules, etc., and say, but my child, and it might be coming through your spouse or whatever. So if you're living together with someone, or you now marry someone with their own child, what happens?
If I speak for myself, the distinction that you made, dating and marrying, when I speak for myself just now, I've moved from a certain level. I'm not looking to date just for the sake of it. The person that I want to get involved with should be the one I want to end up with for the rest of my life. And if that person has a child, everyone has luggage. There are people who have never been in a single relationship and they come with their issues. And actually,
those are dangerous.
Very, 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 very bad issues. Someone who has had a if they're bright enough, they have probably understood what the problems have been, and it's. I know as guys, we're kind of unfair sometimes. You want someone who hasn't been with anyone, but at the same time, someone who knows who is experienced. It's unfair, I know. But someone who has had a child normally would have learned certain experiences, and they'll probably be good for you, despite the baggage.
Yeah. Now, Colin, you were just about to say something, but I'd like you to tie it in with, when is a good time to start talking to the child, or children for that matter?
You definitely should take as much time as possible to expose your children to new people, because the thing about children is, as you know, speaking to parents and what I've learned over the years, is there's a time in that young age, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, these children's brains are like sponges. They're absorbing everything. They remember everything. They remember every name, every face. And if you're going through a stage where you're not sure, and you have all these, I think that cognitively affects the development of a child and how they're able to attach to people. So, is there a good time? No, but I think what is always safe is to, because in the end, even though you're in a relationship with the spouse or the other parent and the family and relatives and the child, really it's about you are in a relationship directly with this person. So it is always important to concretize and lay that foundation well. But it's important to take notice, always know, because the fact is, a single parent, a lady who's a single parent, has very, very different concerns from a lady who doesn't. They're very different. The way they look at the world, their priorities, or whether you can take them out and come back at 5 a.m. in the morning. Those things don't happen. So you've got to one, tame yourself, and two, you've got to be concerned and not act concerned, because with kids you can't act it. You either eat or you're not. Yeah, so you've got to be concerned, and you've got to, and when they are ready, because in the end, I think it's the mother who decides. Yeah. So you've got to create that comfort, the sense of trust and belonging that then allows. So there is no time. It's a journey. There is a journey that must be traveled from the time you enter their lives to the time when they feel comfortable enough to expose you to their children.
Great stuff. Now we're going to go for a short break, and then when we come back, Colin, you've got to tell us more. We're not yet done. Don't forget, this is your show. We want to hear from you. Go to our Facebook page, that's NTV Men, and like it. When you do that, you can be able to give us your feedback. It's important to us. You can also send us an SMS on 6565, or send us a private email at men@ntvuganda.co.ug. We'll be right back after the break. Welcome back from the break. We are here at the Sheraton Kampala Hotel in a fantastic suite, talking about unique relationships. Now, Colin.
All the single mummies.
You tell them, put your hands up.
Yeah, put your hands up.
Now, the children are just one part of it. How do you deal with the other guy? Because that's where, trust me, the biggest challenge is. Okay. You've got this guy who, as men, we are jealous by nature. Yes. That's the way we are. Yes. We are possessive. Just as you mentioned, we always want to be the first and the only. That's the way we're wired.
Yes.
In your experience, How have you dealt with
the other guy?
The other guy.
He doesn't know the guy.
I've had some pretty unique experiences.
Yeah.
In the one case, the other guy was dead.
Oh, I hope you didn't kill him.
Okay. What?
In the other case, the guy.
You know what killed him?
No.
Maybe it was you accidentally.
In the other case, the guy went and just went. And in another case, well, I have found what works for me is forgive me, Father. For I have sinned. I'm apologizing to him because I'm about to use his advice. There is what I call, we call it in pickup artistry. If you're in the business of picking up people, there's something they call alphaing out someone. And I've found that alphaing out a man is not as hard as most people think. And so I would then engage. So because we are competitive, because we're men, we're looking for the alpha edge. So you've got to find your inner alpha and bring him out, which is probably what Ransom was saying. You've got to be there. And you've got to be what we're saying a couple of weeks ago. And I was saying you've got to be tender but tough. So you ask this woman, you say, if you're going to be in my life, you're going to be in my life. And so you then become my woman, and that means I take care of you. This whole drama of, you've got to lay out those ground rules, and it's not lay out ground rules as much as it is agreeing, and then also you've got to respect him because he's brought people into your life. You've got to still acknowledge the fact that he's the father of these children, and that he will play a role in their lives. But that does not mean abdicating your responsibilities, because as the new male, alpha male in their lives, you then have that challenge to man up, and that's doing the things, taking control, being responsible, being caring, providing, protecting.
But are you saying then that you literally box this guy out because his territory?
In lion speak, you must piece so much more around the territory than he has.
Yes, okay.
If I were a wild animal.
You are fat too as a hyena and
the lion.
Yeah.
A lot of wild.
Tiger. Don't forget what's tiger.
That's what you want to be called.
No.
But they're calling you hyenas.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think if it's the two of you that have decided to take the plunge and work out this relationship with a single mom, you should be working on this together. Yeah, because there's a lot of women out there who haven't dealt with issues with their exes, with or without children. Yeah. So if you ask me, it does not make a lot of difference. There's women who are going back to their exes they don't have children with. Yeah. But if you've decided this is going to work, then you should help the woman and she should help you, because at that point she has decided
to move on.
Yeah, to move on from the other man. And
so is that then to say that the guys use the children as an excuse to disorganize their ex's relationship?
That's possible. And for example, I have a live example of this guy. They don't even have a child, but when he ever hears that this girl is going out with the guy will show up somehow, and yet after he picks her and he goes and does all kinds of things.
So he just
impregnates another woman.
Are you saying that this girl still responds to the guy coming back?
Yes.
In which case,
now you have to decide, is this the person I want to be in a relationship with? Someone who is still hung up. So that's a decision you take. And if you've decided...
It comes back to that vulnerability that Peter was talking about, So if the wounds are still raw, then you've got to decide whether you want to be here or whether you want to just give it some time and let them stabilize.
The vulnerability also comes where there's a child involved or children involved, and you have someone who then decides that he's going to his support for the child based on whether you are having a relationship with someone else or not. So a lot of women find themselves trapped in this thing where they've broken up, the guy is maybe paying school fees for the child, and it is dependent on whether she has a relationship with someone or not. You know, so you find
as long as she stays single,
she gets the support from the ex. Which is an unfortunate thing, but it happens. How do you deal with that as a guy who's having a relationship with this woman, and her very livelihood in terms of, you know, maybe she might not be able to fancy school or whatever that the child is at, and she knows that in a situation like this, if this comes out, it's going to be a problem for me. So all of a sudden you find that a guy can be a boyfriend, or even it's like you're having a hidden relationship with someone away from the ex.
You're hiding it from the ex.
You know what I mean? It's and it happens. I mean, you look and you see it happening. Say, but just tell the guy off.
So I don't blame that guy too much.
Wait, don't point fingers. This is not closeted.
No, we're not. I'm just saying the dead guy may not be dead. You may have been told he's dead.
It could have been in Lusoga. It could have been in Lusoga. Yeah, Jai Italy. You think the guy
he went to Italy
or something like that? I don't know. But anyway, we are human beings at the end of the day, yeah? If I'm to get into a relationship with a single mom, what do I want to be? That's why I don't blame the other guy too much. You in another relationship now,
take the whole package.
Yeah, take the whole package.
But the child does not cease to be your child.
I know that. I'm not even saying that is what should happen, but I can understand the other guy's feeling. Yes, sometimes
you're sitting.
That if you're the man, and this is what I was saying, when you say you man up,
you take the whole package.
You put it on the shoulders, and you say,
I'm not saying the other guy is right. I'm not saying he's right, but we are human beings. I can understand where he's coming from.
At what point do you do it? Do you do it while you're still dating, or do you do it when you're married?
For
example, this guy says, if you're to this woman, if you're dating this guy or dating anybody, you know what? And it's probably subtle. The guy might not come out and say, but the money just won't come. Just won't come. Yeah. Do you then take the responsibility to raise another man's, or to pay somebody else's responsibility? That is his.
And you see, that's a very strong point, because at that point it becomes dicey. Because what happens when you start raising the child, and the guy pitches up again and says, you know what?
No. But look at it this way. For example, there's this girl. She has a child. Yeah. You want her.
Yes.
Yeah. Very, very often, actually, those are some of the promises that you make. Those are some of the things, especially if you want to be serious with her and you want to go the whole 9 years.
At what
those are some of the things that those are some of your selling points. That you'll be able to take care of the child.
I want to tell you about an experience that I had where a guy just pitched up.
Yeah.
Just pitched up.
Yeah, it's his child.
I'll tell you what, but you see, I
look at it. Said, you know what, just leave the house and just,
family.
Yes.
And the girl allowed?
Yes.
Yeah, you are not in that relationship in the first place.
But you see, I look at it two ways.
It was determined. It was said. It was pretty. But then he saw what was, and he just said, I mean, eventually it broke off. They got divorced, and but so and I wasn't going to just go back. It was just too.
But you see, I look at it two ways. First and foremost, the bottom line is the reality on the ground is, if you've got a child, it doesn't matter whether you have separated with the child's mother or not. The child is your responsibility.
Yes.
However,
in reality,
it should not.
In reality,
it should not be a barrier to getting into a relationship with somebody, because the truth be told, like you said, everybody has their own baggage.
Yeah.
And if you decide you're taking this woman, then you've got to take her with a child.
Yeah.
You can't say, I'm taking the woman, but I'm cutting off the kid. Send that kid back to.
Okay, but you see, we're talking about instances where there's one kid. But what about if it's 3 or 4 kids? Then what?
Exactly. Well, I mean, what's the difference, right? I mean, they're just,
you are so naive.
The difference is the number of children.
But it also makes a difference in your pocket.
It makes a difference.
Yeah, it makes a difference in your pocket. This is the judgment you have to make in the first place before you start this relationship. What are you getting yourself into?
The question that I asked before is, at what point of this relationship, right? Yeah. You're still exploring, and already the purse strings start getting pulled and closed.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question.
By somebody. Hang on, right? So imagine a scenario. It's just before school starts. School fees is due, right? And it is very clear from the other guy that he is holding back money because he's heard that this woman is having a relationship with you. Fine. So you say, you know what? I'll cover it, right? First term, it happens. Second term, it happens. What do you then do? Do you then accept the fact that there's a guy somewhere that has 3 kids and has decided that that's it, I'm not responsible for these children?
Let me also ask a question. This woman has a child or has children, and you want to be in a relationship with them.
Yes.
You, what are you thinking? That what is going to happen? You're going to buy food for her alone? I mean, what are you thinking? I think the first thing that comes to your mind is that you're taking this woman
plus her 3 kids.
Yeah, plus her 3 children. And that is something that you have already figured out.
In theory, it's okay in your head. When you get it on the ground.
I actually don't think that is theory. Because if I see a woman with a child and I want her, I'm thinking, I mean, that's her responsibility. So if she is my responsibility, they both become my responsibility. The other guy can choose to keep supporting. I mean, there's a guy who can say, I don't want another guy to pay school fees for my child. Yeah, and he keeps doing that.
The question, Joseph, though, that you are courting this woman. Yeah. At what point do you then take? Let's imagine that these kids are at some fancy school. Yeah. Yeah, international school.
French school.
At what point do you're chasing this woman? Yeah. Things are not as settled and whatnot. At what point
you're getting Colin worried.
At what point do you then say, stuff the fact that this guy doesn't want to pay? I will pay.
Okay, let's not even put the children aside. Yeah. If a woman is taking children to some fancy school, and you're chasing her, you had better not be jobless or whatever. I mean. Yeah. This is just added responsibility.
We have got to get into a break now.
I'm thinking,
you better not be. I've never dealt women with kids. What the hell is this?
No, understand what I'm saying.
In short, what Joseph is saying is, do not bite off more than you can chew.
Yeah, that's what I agree with.
Don't try to bite if you have what you can't afford.
Because I mean, immediately, if that's what it takes to win that woman, I can start paying the school fees, and I have to judge. Can I?
We're here at the Sheraton Kampala Hotel and we are discussing unique relationships. For now, we're going into a break. Don't forget, we must hear from you because this is your show. You can go to our Facebook page, that's NTV Men, like it, and give us your comments. This is how the show will grow, and we will be able to address all those things that you want addressed. You can also send us a mail at men@ntvuganda.co.ug. It's there on your screen. Send us an SMS, 6565, and keep the information coming through. We'll be right back, gentlemen, after the break. This is Men. Welcome back from the break. We're here at the Sheraton Kampala Hotel, and if you've just joined us, you've missed a lot. However, you'll be able to catch up because we are talking about unique relationships. Gentlemen, just before we went into the break, Joseph was very passionate about taking up his responsibility as it is. But I want us to also pick on another kind of unique relationships. There's an emerging trend worldwide, actually, when you look even at some of the big names like Jennifer Lopez, Jennifer Aniston. I don't know if it's a Jennifer thing, but you're getting a lot of middle-aged women, women in their 40s and above, who have decided men, even in this town, they are doing it. I'd just like to know what your thoughts are on that. Is it a case of sugar mummyhood, or is it just genuinely looking for love.
Okay, talking about sugar mommyhood. I don't know if at my age I can still get sugar mommy. I don't know how old they will be.
That would be a sugar granny.
Point. Something like that. But
sugar granny.
I'll tell you, I'm an advocate of getting into a relationship with someone who is old enough. Yeah, there's certain qualities I may not go for an older woman, but I cannot say I cannot. Yeah, actually, I would rather an older woman than a very young girl.
Why is that?
Because a young girl has to go through certain experiences. Yeah, for example, if right now you decided to date a 20-year-old. At my age, and the purpose is to get married and everything. She'll respect you and everything, and she likes you a lot. Yeah, so she has allowed. So what is going to happen is, because she likes you a lot and she wants to be in this relationship, she's going to compromise a number of things. Yeah, and when you grow, as a man grows older, they become more complex. Yeah, we become more complex.
Really?
You start to want to do things a certain way. You're not as flexible as a younger man. You want to sleep on a certain side of the bed. I think it's a very simple thing, but very critical, because if you sleep on a certain side of the bed and you're comfortable in a certain position, it means you may not be able to cuddle because of the I'm sure people have gone through this.
Yeah.
So this girl, even if you decide to compromise, and for example she wants to go out, and you decide to go out with her, chances are that you want old school, and she wants do somewhere.
It's just some bubblegum music.
Yeah, you may not even want to go to the same place. So one of you
has to make major compromises.
Yeah, major compromises. She's compromising, then you have to be very, very understanding, because you can let her go out with her friends, go and have fun. Sometimes she wants you to be around. So I would rather actually maybe an older woman than a younger person, a much younger person.
Look, I don't think it's so much of an issue. I think you need to, perhaps the question is, what age difference makes a big deal? Because if you're talking 2, 3, 4, 5 years, you know, it's all right, just as long as you're aware of the fact that if a woman is that much older than you, there's a good chance, as men are wont to be, where you will be looking and thinking, oh, she's a bit old, and your eyes start roaming and looking at the younger girls.
Yeah.
We see it all the time. Even when men are with women who are younger than them, they still look at the cradle. You know, you're in your 60s and you're looking into the cradle.
Colin, are you looking into the cradle also?
But you know, Peter, I'm retired.
He's already in the cradle.
I am the cradle. No, but quite interestingly, what you're saying is very interesting, because last week there was a time of Kampala.
Used to?
I said there was a time. I'm now retired.
Okay, all right.
But there was a time, and I actually wrote a blog post about. I mean, what is it about? If I were in a position that I would be then looking for, and it's not sugar mommyhood. I think it's just there's a certain attraction that comes, you know, towards older women. You see it. And it's a thing about tastes and preferences. Some guys like them young. Some people like girls with hips. Some people don't like girls with hips. You know, it's just that. So some people like younger girls, and some people. Yeah. And I think that and in that. There is a guide to the aging landscape. As women go older, they get set in their ways there. And that means they're definite about what they like. They know the music they like. They know how they like their breakfast. And those things, that certainty, that being set in their ways is a good thing to have, I think.
Yeah, so you're not shooting in the dark and hoping to hit.
Who?
I mean, when you're dealing with a cougar, you're not shooting in the dark.
But you must... you must know exactly what you want and say exactly what you want, because that's the only way. Because with people who are that old, you know they're not going to. They're old. They're nearing their grave. They don't have time to eat green bananas.
When we say cool girl, what age are you talking about, Colin? What are you saying?
I'm worried.
I'm just saying that
what? Must we hide our widowed mothers? Because he's roaming around.
No. But I must say, there comes a time, and this is what Joseph was saying. There comes a time when you don't
blaming you now.
It's all on you, Joseph.
No, and you can't bullshit around anymore. You can't. You just, and so people like that, it's simple. I like movies, and so they'll simply say, this is non-negotiable for me. This I can work on, and this is a big yes. So it's like that. Things are not in grey, and I think that's always an attractive quality. Is it for the search of money? I think not, because what you're talking about, this trend is also partly from a deep-seated, need to remain young, to find the fountain of youth.
Eternal youth.
So if you hang out with the younger guy, he's more energetic, he's more vibrant, he'll keep you relevant, and so they kind of find the need to express themselves through you. But then you find the peace and calm that comes with being someone who's more mature, someone who's definite. And I think, and I'll emphasize that, the definiteness, that sense of certainty, just I know what I want.
Yeah, you're saying it about the older woman. It's what I said about a guy, because it's a guy who's a certain age. So if you're 35, and you're meeting a 40-year-old woman, chances are that you both know what you want out of life right now. It's very, very easy. You get on with it. You know what to compromise on. They're coming from another relationship, and they have probably learned a lot of things from there. You've also learned, and there's probably going to be less fighting.
So what about if you're 30 and they are 45?
Yeah, maybe we need to be asking you that.
No, because
the guy was talking about 52.
No, I was not saying anything about 52. I think that
about 52.
I think that after menopause, you are dangerously coming close to the grave. And I will tell you, there are no ambulances in this town that can give you.
No, you know what? You know what I think. I think it also depends on what you're looking for, really. Sometimes you just find the kind of person that is a soulmate, or you just click regardless of their age. You know, and whether they're 5 years or 10 years older than you, it just makes sense. And I think Colin said quite a profound thing about the certainty that an older woman has. I would imagine that there's no playing around the kind of issues that Joseph was talking about with the 20-year-old, where she wants to listen to Justin Bieber or something like that, and you're talking about.
I heard about J. Cole.
She wants to cry to snatch Justin Bieber
or Jay Sean or whatever. I know these things because my kids listen to them. You see, now you imagine that later on I'm dealing with somebody who's the same age as my kids or something, because that happens as well.
True. Yeah.
So, look, I think it's sometimes you just find someone, whether they're 5 or 10 or 15 years older than you.
Or 20.
You just need to be aware of, one, what society will be like when people look and then they're asking your woman, so is this your son?
Yeah.
And how you feel about that. Yeah. And two, if you're in this relationship long term, you're saying, okay, let's be together, let's get married or whatever, you have to take into account the fact that age will affect you.
Whether you like it or not.
15 years is a long time. When you're 50, somebody's 65. That's a huge gap.
And the deterioration is so fast from.
So, Colin, you've been warned. Now, guys, we're actually out of time.
No.
It just goes. Colin, I'll start with you. Your parting shot about unique relationships.
Oh, God. I swear, this is like dealing with aliens.
They just keep coming at you.
No, it's like a sci-fi horror story. It just comes. No, I think, Peter, definitely. It comes from, in my experience, it comes from a deep sense of self-awareness. I'm very deeply aware about, my needs and who I am.
Yeah.
And that's how I'm able to. I like to tell my friends that we don't judge where we come from. When I get together with my friends, I say we don't judge. So I come from that place, where what society thinks doesn't matter so much as my happiness. And maybe that's selfish, but then if I need to be selfish in order to find what I need, then I think that's...
And so be it.
Yes, and so unique relationships, then when you then take that, because I've defined myself, then it then goes into the relationship and it says it won't be so much the situations around the person as the person themselves. It's not if you lie to me, if that she lies to me, I wouldn't feel bad about that. I would feel bad if they lie to me about themselves. If they know themselves, if the person says I don't drink, I don't care if, but if they tell me they don't drink and then they find them. So that's a whole. To be true to yourself, I think, is more important.
Yeah.
And then look for that in other people.
Great stuff. Ransom, your parting shot.
Yeah. Look, I think if you find someone and you find that there's a connection between you, it doesn't really matter what the age difference is. That's specifically about the age thing. It shouldn't really matter as long as you are aware of the kinds of pressures that society will place on you, whether the woman is very, very young or older or significantly older. You just need to be aware and know that it's going to be more difficult. The same with relationships where someone has a child or children already. You just need to be aware of the kind of luggage that there is, and not find yourself leading someone on or putting them in a situation where you're making them choose between you and their kid and things like that. But I still think every man should look after his own kids. Don't go around getting women pregnant so that you can turn around and say, I'm gonna get some guy who's gonna have a relationship with her to
and
look after.
Care of that,
yeah, that's just a way of breeding just really irresponsible men.
True. Yeah. Joseph.
About irresponsible men, first and foremost, one, if I meet a woman and she has a child, the first thing I'm thinking is that's the package that I'm taking on. It does not matter at what point in the relationship. That is the responsibility that I'm taking on. If I want to take it on, I take it on.
Sometimes it matters who they.
I would actually worry more about the relationship between the two adults
than the child,
than the responsibility of the child, because that is, for me, that is what matters. But my parting shot after this is, as human beings, as I grow, I've learned that we set the wrong questions very often. And I don't know if there is a chance of getting the right answer if you're setting the wrong question. Yeah. So we set boxes that we like to tick. Yeah. Or a woman should be this age, or they should not have a child, or they should be working, or they should be hip. They should have hips, or they should be beautiful and stuff like that. I've learned that there is two things, bottom line, that are required. Respect, one, and liking each other enough. What do I mean here? I'm not even mentioning trust, because if you have these two, chances are that someone is going to trust you, and if they have those two, they're going to trust you, you're going to trust them back. Yeah. And then what they call love is probably a summation of all these things that you do to make it work. For me, I consider love as a decision to make something work. And to make something work, one, you have to respect someone. Two, you have to like them enough to be able to deal with all these issues that he's talking about. Someone is 15 years older than you are, then society is going to judge you and everything. If you like that person enough, those are some of the things that you're going to. Yeah. So for me, those two are most important things, as opposed to the boxes that we set. 10 things. Does she work? Is she beautiful? All those are secondary. Primary are those two.
We have been talking about unique relationships. At the end of the day, every relationship is unique. There is no relationship that is the same. There's no relationship that has a set formula. It's all about the two people who are involved. And I underline the word two, because a relationship is only between two people. Have a good night. This is Men.
This is a threesome.
Pretending everywhere, it's just another day. There's bullets flying through the air, and they still carry on. We watch it happen over there, and then just turn it off. We must stand together. There's no giving in. Hand in hand forever. That's when we
This is NTV.
Zebras belong to the horse family and are best known for their distinctive white and black stripes, with each zebra having its own unique pattern of stripes, just like fingerprints. There are 3 species of zebra: the plain zebra, gravy zebra, and the mountain zebra. Zebras generally stand from 4 to 5 feet at the shoulder and weigh around 300 kilograms. The largest species, gravy zebra, can weigh up to 450 kilograms. Zebras can be found in a variety of habitats, such as grasslands, savannas, woodlands, thorny scrublands, mountains, and coastal hills. When the group is alarmed, it takes to flight with the first 5 dominant females or mares in the front and the stallions bringing up the rear. Like horses, zebras walk, trot, canter, and gallop. They are generally slower than horses, but their great stamina helps them to outpace their predators. Bachelor males either live alone of other bachelors until they're old enough to challenge a breeding stallion. Like most animal species, female zebras mature earlier than males, and a mare may have her first foal by the age of 3. Zebras have a gestation period of 12 months. Zebras have a lifespan of 20 years.
This is NTV.
Shampoos a lot. Several mornings she shampoos my locks. Always have my back, she stand true to that. Real type of loving, thank you for that. Yo, run barefoot without the shoes and socks. Cause she keep herself clean, man, I got catch no rush. And she love me for real, man, I feel have no cash. And any little thing and from a splish, you splash. Yo, all this blinging is like you forgot. Use cheddar as the bait, then you recruit the rat. So we listen couple speech of Martin Luther chat. Dennis Brown, Bob Marley and some super.
This is NTV.
A very good evening to you and a warm welcome to Friday's NTV Weekend Edition, this 20th day of July 2012. It is 9 p.m. and the weekend starts here. Bill Clinton has spent the day in Uganda during an official one-day visit. Find out what he has had to say on improving Uganda's health sector as he met with President Museveni. Plus, NRM's KIKULUKUUNYU loses his appeal after his election was annulled last November on grounds of voter bribery. I'll be sure to have your say on that in our NTV Weekend poll. So don't go anywhere this Friday evening, starting right now with tonight's main headlines. Former U.S. President Bill Clinton meets with President Museveni during a one-day official visit to Uganda.
It's yet another by-election before the end of this year as court throws out Butambala constituency MP Faizo Chikungu out of the 9th Parliament. Join me, Julius Senkandwa, for more on this story.
And join me, Alfred Odong, later on in this bulletin for a preview of the Kampala Amateur Volleyball Club Memorial Competition that starts in Kampala tomorrow.
Once again, thank you for joining us. I am Josephine Karunji. The former U.S. President Bill Clinton has urged Ugandan leaders and healthcare experts to adopt new inexpensive medical advances to combat sicknesses like diarrhea that have been causing the death of thousands of children. Clinton, who is in the country on a one-day visit, was hosted by President Yoweri Museveni and senior health sector officials at the National Medical Stores in a tour to promote his foundation's efforts of ending diarrhea deaths among Ugandan children. Chris Ochamringa begins tonight's newscast.
Bill Clinton, the former U.S. president, was received by President Museveni and a host of health experts at the National Medical Stores in Entebbe. The purpose of his visit was to support an ambitious effort of ending diarrheal deaths among Ugandan children.
80% of the children who die from such diseases are 5 years of age or under. Their lives are snuffed out just as they are beginning. And saving their lives is inexpensive and relatively easy if there is a system to do it. The system requires every country to aggressively embrace oral rehydration therapy and zinc.
According to the World Health Organization, diarrhea is one of the leading killers of children under 5, with over 14,000 children dying each year. The former U.S. president is using his Clinton Health Access Initiative to combat the sickness. President Museveni hailed Clinton's support in improving the lives of Ugandan children.
I wish to appreciate your gesture in coming to Uganda to bolster our national efforts aimed at ending diarrhea death among children.
Earlier in the day, Clinton, accompanied by his daughter Chelsea, paid a courtesy call on Building Tomorrow Primary School in Wakiso District, where he was welcomed by scores of excited children. District leaders and residents of Jita village got the rare opportunity of shaking hands with the former president, whose tenure in office saw the U.S. enjoy more peace and economic well-being than most of its counterparts. The Clinton Foundation also supports education and child obesity conditions around the world. His entourage has been on a tour of Rwanda, South Africa and Mozambique and will depart for Cyprus after his Ugandan tour. This visit of the former U.S. president is of great significance to the children and the parents of Building Tomorrow. Now, the former U.S. president has been engaged in a number of charitable deeds ever since leaving office in 2001, and that earned him the name Do Good in Chief by President Barack Obama. Chris Ochamringa, NTV, Jita Town.
Next tonight, and 1 week since winning back the Bukoto South by-election, the Democratic Party has another chance to raise its numbers in Parliament after their party member Muwanga Chivumbi has won a case filed in the Court of Appeal against his rival, NRM's Faizo KIKULUKUUNYU. The court today ruled on the evidence provided by witnesses in an election petition pinning KIKULUKUUNYU to allegations of bribing electorates in Butamba constituency. 2 High Court judges ruled in Muwanga's favor and 1 in favor of KIKULUKUUNYU. As Julia Senkandwa reports, KIKULUKUUNYU has been ordered to meet all the costs that arose from the case.
High Court Judge Justice Vincent Chiwuka Musoke back in November last year annulled KIKULUKUUNYU's election on grounds that he had bribed voters with pressure lamps, cows and cash, among other items. But KIKULUKUUNYU was not content, accusing Justice Chiwuka Musoke of being biased and as a result had to appeal the ruling. But today's ruling did not favor him either, after 2 judges who include Stella Alach Amoko and Remy Kasuli upheld the first one, saying there was enough evidence to pin him. They cited one instance whereby KIKULUKUUNYU is said to have bought a pressure lamp to a women's group, asking them to vote for him. The final ruling was 2 against 1.
Don't agree. I have no option but to call the dismissal of the appeal by the majority of 51.
This is what ought to be done. Electoral malpractices, people who come to power through lies, bribery, cheating. This is the end of story.
The court has also ordered the loser to meet all the costs of the case and the Electoral Commission to organize another election in Butambala. Meanwhile, the same court has upheld the election of Nebbi District Chairman Robert Akum following a petition by his challenger William Alengo. Meanwhile, the same court has upheld the election of Nebbi District Chairman Robert Akum following a petition by his challenger William Alengo.
The supporting judgments of Justice Irene Kasule, they have nothing useful to add, and they agree with the reasoning, and the appeal success was a cross appeal faced with the cost proposed by the land.
Unite in one cause of developing Nebbi District.
Alengo was challenging the time at which the recount of the votes was held, saying it was beyond the stipulated time. Julius Senkandwa, NTV.
Thank you, Julius. Well, it is on this issue that we engage you tonight in our NTV Weekend Poll, and we are asking, what do you make of the rising number of nullifications of MP seats? I repeat, what do you make of the rising number of nullifications of MP seats? To have your say, text 8778 followed by your name and where you're texting from, and we shall be reading some of your responses during tonight's newscast and some more at the tail end of this bulletin. Now, the national teachers' strike has come to an end with national prayers expected across the weekend. The strike, that was based around the theme Civic Response to the Public Education Crisis, began on Monday this week with a halt to teaching activities in schools, a presentation of a petition to Parliament and national interreligious prayers.
The teachers' strike, which paralyzed teaching activities this Monday, has drawn to a close with national interreligious prayers being conducted at Pope Paul Memorial Community Center. The strike was coordinated by, among other organizations, the Uganda Joint Christian Council, the Uganda National Teachers Union, the Uganda Muslim Education Association, and Forum for Education NGOs in Uganda. The prayers were aimed at emphasizing the challenges facing the education system in Uganda.
Serve him.
Serve him, serve him, serve
Pray, Father, that you forgive the parents and guardians who likewise have neglected to fulfill their parental responsibilities, in particular with regard to feeding children while at school.
Our Lord, we pray to you that you guide our lawmakers to amend the relevant article in Education Act to make it possible for schools to require from parents and guardians mandatory financial contribution towards their children's lunch.
The strike was aimed at addressing the crisis in public education, which include high dropout rates, congestion in classrooms, hungry children in schools, deteriorating standards of UPE and USE, among others. The former UNEP chairperson, Professor Albert Lutalo-Bosa, highlighted the need for all partners and stakeholders to work together to improve the quality of education in Uganda.
Everybody, as a national, should be concerned about the quality of education. The evaluation is now, it's not later, because if we postpone it, then we are not going to achieve what we want to achieve within a reasonable time. Therefore, this is a time of review, a time of evaluation, and if we evaluate properly, and whoever is concerned as a stakeholder, we shall achieve the quality education that we are shooting for as a country, as a nation.
Well, we're now going to take a short break, but there is still so much more ahead on NTV Weekend Edition, and you can expect. Police in Kasese engage in running battles with FTC supporters as they accompanied their party's flag bearer Winnie Chiza for nomination. And in sport, President Museveni cautions Uganda's Olympic team against indiscipline as they set off for the London Olympics. NTV Weekend Edition continues after this short break. See you shortly.
This is NTV.
Ice, baby. Alright, stop, collaborate and listen. I sit back. Oh, give me hope,
got to know when to hold up, know when to fold up, know when to walk away, and know when
nasinzia nikikuwaza, nasinzia nikikuwaza, miaka rudi miaka nenda, nasinzia nikikuwaza.
He does not change.
Welcome back to NTV Weekend Edition. Now, a reminder that in this evening's NTV Weekend poll, we are asking, what do you make of the rising number of nullifications of MP seats? I repeat, what do you make of the rising number of nullifications of MP seats? To have your say, text 8778 followed by your name and where you are texting from. Let's take a look at some of your responses so far, and we start with Elias Ahewe, who says the major reason is because most of them win elections through manipulation. Therefore, they are not the people's true choices. Justice Rukundo says the Electoral Commission, as a must, has to revise the way it is conducting elections. Otherwise, the whole process of nullification starts when proper laws governing the process are not followed. And Two Calls says it is right to nullify non-performing MPs. The elections where there are non-performing MPs, but government should stop corruption and bribery during elections in order to get good leaders. Well, thank you so much for those responses. We will take a look at some more towards the end of this newscast. Now moving on, and police in Kasese were yesterday engaged in running battles with FTC supporters who had accompanied their party's flag bearer Winnie Chiza for nomination. Chiza was nominated to contest in the Kasese Woman MP by-election after the post fell vacant following a court ruling last month that nullified her victory.
Finally, I wish you success.
The drama started unfolding when FDC supporters insisted on having a procession through Kasese town against police's wish.
But where are we going? This is our town!
Heavily armed anti-riot police personnel quickly swung into action, blocking all the main entrances to the town. This sparked fury among FDC diehards, who eventually started hurling insults at police. The battle lasted a few minutes, and police overpowered Besje's convoy, driving it towards Bwera. Kiza was sent out of parliament last month after a ruling by Justice Catherine Bamhegaine nullifying her victory, citing irregularities in the first election that led her to parliament. Court then ordered for fresh elections.
Let me tell you, no amount of intimidation is going to stop the people of Kasese from casting their vote the way they want to vote it. Their vote is clear, it's for Winnie and no one else.
Now, he is currently heading one of the top universities in Uganda. Reverend Canon Dr. John Ssenyonyi, who is the Vice Chancellor of Mukono University, attributes his success to God, who he says he always listens to his words and callings. In this week's profile feature, Maurice Ochol visited Mukono University and caught up with the Reverend.
It was here at Uganda Christian University Mukono where I caught up with the Vice Chancellor of the University, Reverend Canon Dr. John Ssenyonyi. Once in office, one of the first things he does is to attend to what is urgent. Born 1956 in Luwero and raised in Nakasongala in a family of 13 siblings, He attended primary school, then later joined King's College Buddo before his university studies in Nairobi.
At the end of my studies at the University of Nairobi, I came back, worked a little bit from 1978 to 1980.
After 3 years of work, Dr. Ssenyonyi then sought to continue with his studies at the University of Melbourne in Australia.
And went to Australia, spent there 5 years. Came back with my PhD in mathematical statistics.
Reverend Dr. John Ssenyonyi, his life was soon to take another turn when he gave his life to Christ in 1976. Further change was to come 4 years later when he was asked to join the East African Evangelist Enterprise. But his wife, a bishop's daughter, herself was not keen about it.
She had seen everything that goes with being a minister's child. For her, the whole situation was untenable.
They soon agreed. He left to study theology in the States in 1989, but he was first ordained a reverend. His years as a reverend was not a walkover, and he recalls his most challenging time in evangelism.
These girls who just admire you, and they want to deal with you as if, you know, and many of them probably come innocently, but you never know who is coming innocently and who isn't.
As Dr. John Ssenyonyi progressed in his career, another twist was just around the corner as he was approached to be the university chaplain of Mukono Christian University.
The whole idea just sounded ridiculous in my mind. To leave the ministry that I was doing.
To Dr. John Ssenyonyi, it's always after getting a call from God that he makes a move in his life. So a chaplain he was for 2 years and a half.
It was an exciting time. Being university chaplain, probably the most peaceful for me and most enjoyable, because everyone just likes you.
In early 2009, the Vice Chancellor, Professor Stephen Orr, left, and of course the position of the Vice Chancellorship was now vacant. And when the post was advertised, he hesitated.
I just didn't feel, one, that I was up to it, but two, the weight of being a Vice Chancellor was petrifying for me.
But this time round, it was the family and his last born child that put him on the spot.
He turned to me and he asked me a question. He said, how do you know if God will not guide you through the application? I did not have any answer for him. So I accepted I was going to write a letter of application.
On September 1st, 2010, Dr. John Ssenyonyi from Nakisigge clan became the university vice chancellor.
But yes, at that particular time, it was a mixture of fear. But I just said, well, Lord, if you're going to be with me, and that's really all that I wanted, if you're going to be with me, I'll take it up.
Though his first university was turbulent, this did not stop Dr. John Ssenyonyi from initiating cultures that have to date groomed the students of the university.
I set my heart to establish the worship of this community, among other things. And I did ask at that particular time, the timetable master, that I want midday services. A lot. They don't walk. Yeah.
Dr. John Ssenyonyi, who resides at the university, is married to Ruth Ssenyonyi Nantege, with whom they have got 4 children.
They got married in 1985 on April the 13th. When I heard that she was a bishop's daughter, my first instinct was to recoil. Don't go.
Incidentally, Dr. John Ssenyonyi wedded on the same day with his brother Peter Nyombi, the current Attorney General of Uganda. So how does he balance work and family?
Much more I owe my family to God. If I were to lose the job, I will have the family. And I can get another job. It's not like the university is unimportant. It certainly is very important, and I give my heart fully to it, because I believe I owe that to God too.
Already a grandfather believes that after leaving the university, he could retire to his passion of evangelism and spending more time with his family. Maurice Achol, NTV.
Thank you, Maurice. Now let's take a look at more stories making the news across Uganda tonight.
The body of the late cleric and deputy supreme mufti of the Chibuli Muslim faction, Sheikh Abdu Hakim SSEKIMPI, has been laid to rest today. Sheikh SSEKIMPI was buried at Nkowe burial ground following requiem prayers at Chibuli Mosque, attended by relatives, friends and his colleagues. He succumbed to diabetes and high blood pressure at Chibuli Hospital last night. SSEKIMPI, who has been a prominent Islamic activist and teacher at several Islamic institutions in Uganda, will also be remembered for being one of the key figures that fought for the removal of Sheikh Ramadan Shaban Muwajje as Mufti. He was 50 years. In other news, Masaka High Court Judge Michael Chibita will on the 26th of this month make his ruling in businessman Godfrey Kato Kajubi's murder case. In the latest development, court assessors today advised that the charges against Kajubi be dropped for lack of sufficient evidence to convict him. They say the evidence given by Kajubi's co-accused Moses Katerega and his wife were riddled with inconsistencies. The two practiced witchcraft and said together with Kajubi they took part in the beheading of 12-year-old Joseph Kasirie. Defense lawyer Fred Kamugunda yesterday asked court to let his client free on grounds that the evidence given by police was also hazy. The case was revived at the start of the year after the state expressed dissatisfaction at the manner in which it was dismissed by court in 2010.
Well, let's now take another short break, but just before we do, Joel Kamadi is in the studio to bring us the very latest in sport. Joel, a little bird told us your birthday was yesterday. What's it like to be a day older?
Well, all I can say is I turned 16, 16, and it was a good thing. It was a really good thing, but thank you very much as well. Belated though, but thank you. Now in sport, Uganda Revenue Authority Football Club continues more in NTV Weekend Sport up next.
This is NTV.
Fieldwork has been defined by different scholars. Some think it is an art.
These are the blood types that are in human beings. We have A.
When a chemical reaction takes place, it involves two things.
We are given a straight line that has been denoted by 2x minus y is equal to 6. Fieldwork has been defined by different scholars. Some think it is an art.
These are the blood types that are in human beings. We have A.
When a chemical reaction takes place, it involves two things.
We are given a straight line that has been denoted by 2x minus y is equal to 6. Fieldwork has been defined by different scholars. Some think it is an art.
These are the blood types that are in human beings. We have A.
When a chemical reaction takes place, it involves two things.
We are given a straight line that has been denoted by 2x minus y is equal to 6. Fieldwork has
Ideally, we all have the right to express our opinions and views truthfully and openly.
Atelelom tugenda katongole mbukasam.
Kampala bwerere mwansomu the bus. The discussion is still going on in the bus.
Tulina okugumira challenges ezimu gwe tuba tulina okugoba abatembeeyi mwami lukwaga aguma agamba abatembeeyi mugende.
Welcome to NTV Weekend Sport. I am Joel Kamadi. With just 8 days to go until the London 2012 Olympic Games, Team Uganda was this evening flagged off by President Yoweri Museveni, handing the national flag to the captain Ganzi Mugula at State House Entebbe. President Museveni cautioned the athletes against being indisciplined during the games by drinking and going to nightclubs instead of concentrating in order to perform and win medals. He cited the importance of taking part in sports activities to nurture discipline and endurance before pledging to reward excelling athletes.
I don't supply credit to give the one who has not performed. I give the one who has already participated. So if you didn't participate in the past, when you come back, I'll be here. My people didn't give you because of their poor coordination. I don't know why they attend these meetings. In future, I will exclude them from the meetings, my officials, because they are adding no value. Why do they take our fresh air? Because when I said this is our officials, why did they not follow it up? But you are going to get this money tomorrow. Those who are involved, not those who are not involved.
Now, Uganda Revenue Authority Football Club will face off with Rwanda's APR in the quarter-final of this year's SEKAFA Kagame Cup after the former topped Group A of the competition before the Rwandan side lost to home team Yanga and came third in Group B. Sam Poza has the details of this story from Tanzania.
Rwanda's APR FC have fallen in Uganda Revenue Authority's path of the ongoing SEKAFA Kagame Cup after losing to home side Young Football Club. APR will now play against the surging URA FC in the quarterfinals beginning on Monday. URA topped Group A with maximum points from 3 games after beating Ports of Djibouti by 3-1 in the afternoon game. Augustine Nsumba, Sam Mobiru and Robert Sentongo scored URA's goals. URA captain Simon Masaba is confident his team will go past the Rwandans in the quarterfinals.
East Africa, we play the same football. It's only the character of the players, how they handle the games and how they think to do. Yeah.
Now moving on, and the 16th edition of Kampala Amateur Volleyball Club Memorial Championships gets underway tomorrow with the hosts looking to defend the title. The 2-day event is aimed at providing foreign challenge to the elite national clubs, as Alfred Odong reports.
Kampala Amateur Volleyball Club will be under pressure to impress in their memorial competition that gets underway in Kampala tomorrow. KAVC, also defending champions of this event, aim at winning the 16th edition of the championship and take their tally of the titles in the same 2-3. The organizers, however, aim at ensuring the home teams face the stiffest challenge from elite clubs from Kenya, Burundi and Rwanda. Kigali Volleyball Club is expected to give the home sides a run for their money in the men's games. Kampala City Council Authority ladies are to prove they did not fluke the title last season by retaining the top prize. The games are to be played in Nkumba, Makere Business School before concluding with the finals at Lugogo Indoor Stadium on Sunday. Alfred Odong, NTV Sport.
Now, to shed more light on this issue, I'm joined here on NTV Weekend Sport by Sadiq Nasiu, the Uganda National Federation President. You're welcome to NTV Weekend Sport.
Thank you, Kamad.
Now, just to start us off, how many foreign teams do you expect to turn up for this event?
We are expecting more than 10 teams, in 5 for the ladies and 5 for the men, and they are going to be beefed up with our local prime teams, which we have chosen to make sure that we have a stiff competition.
Okay, and what can you tell us about the tournament this year? How different is it from last year, and what unique attributes does it have?
The tournament is not different from last year, but the only attribute is that there is a slogan whereby KVC, first of all, is celebrating it is the 42nd year. At the same time, better living is the theme of the tournament. So we are not only looking at volleyball, but we are also looking at the people playing it as far as health is concerned. And I know very well we are going to have a very wonderful event for our teams.
Okay, now how does the host club and maybe Uganda as a whole benefit from hosting this competition?
We benefit that we have an international exposure because we have international teams coming here, and when they come here, it becomes cheap competition at home. That is the first benefit. And secondly, we also want to show the other people what volleyball is. Volleyball is not any ordinary game. It is a game full of agility, power, speed, and is a game worth to be watched.
Okay. Now, why is it that KAVC, one of Uganda's oldest volleyball clubs, has failed to grow? And is there anything being done to ensure that they have better facilities?
Yeah, KVC is planning to grow big. And if you look at the program of this weekend, they are launching a fundraising activity to make sure that they have a home. They want to have a permanent address out of Lugogo. And I believe they are making a very bold and firm step towards that direction.
Now, when do we see volleyball in Uganda taking on professionalism so that we can be able to compete rather with our African counterparts?
Yeah, that is our dream as administrators of the game or managers. But I know it is not something you can wake up and say we are there. But we are working on that, and I believe one time we shall have professional volleyballers in this country.
Okay, just Sadiq, before we let you go, let me ask you, what is your executive doing to see volleyball providing alternative employment or to talented players and officials rather than just playing the game for fun?
Volleyball is giving a lot to the players. Most of our younger players who haven't reached the status of employment have got scholarship, most of his universities and tertiary institutions. That is something, a very good feedback, payment for our players. And some of the players have started going professional. We have players who have been in Rwanda, we have been in Burundi, in Nigeria. So the future is still bright for the players of volleyball.
All right. Thank you very much, Sadiq.
You're welcome.
That has been Sadiq Nasiru, the president of the Uganda Volleyball Federation. Now moving on, and Williams driver Pastor Maldonado was fastest in our second practice session at the German Grand Prix.
The Venezuelan, winner of the Spanish GP in May, was 0.088 seconds quicker than Mercedes driver Nico Rosberg, with Red Bull Sebastian Vettel third. In the drier but still rain-hit first session, Jenson Button headed McLaren teammate Lewis Hamilton by 0.498 seconds. Michael Schumacher crushed his Mercedes coming into the stadium section in the closing minutes of the second session. The German legend lost the rear of the car coming through the first fourth gear right-hander curve and spun across the track into the wall. Hamilton was 2 seconds off the pace of Button when the track was at its quickest, and Anderson said McLaren would have to look at why that was. Hamilton was also slower than Ferrari's Fernando Alonso, the World Championship leader, when running in the wetter conditions towards the end of the session. The teams were trying out upgrades aimed at improving performance, with the greatest attention focused on McLaren and Lotus.
And that winds up NTV Weekend Sport. Back to you, Josiane.
And thank you, Joel. Now stay with us. Your comments for NTV Weekend Poll this evening are coming up next.
This is NTV.
Kwene embeera y'abasajja bano
essuubi nga lyakugwamu mama
bano abasajja abanaatera n'okujja kusigiriza ffe ekiro basituleko emiwumbo gy'emmere bagitwale
sogera byange kibanda bana bagamba bweyagala nkubulira ebyange jja tugende emyanzi
mpulira banyumya babeera bakujerega waliko omusawo w'ekinnansi South Africa baba bakujerega obituufu
baba banjerega oyo mufere mubbi yennyini yeetaaga miggo
omuntu wa bulijjo tomuzannyirangako abeeranga dormant volcano
bwemba mukkiriza nina takuwa mugiyita
ate takuwa gobeera mugoberezi tolowooza ndi buli mulimo oyogerera omusiraamu singa naakubuuza nti Katonda yagamba atya
oba oli pasita ng'okyawa olimba obba oyenda olina abakazi basatu please
Heaven is waiting for you. One day you'll pay, and soon your time is out.
Otiisa mmoni.
Sitiisa. Nkubulira Yesu talimba.
Ebintu mbimala mulundi gumu. Kati what I love peace.
Gwokola byo.
Wegase n'omusajja mutwale mabi.
Kwene embeera y'abasajja bano.
Essuubi nga lyakuggwamu mama.
Bano abasajja abanaatera n'okujja kusigiriza ffe ekiro basituleko emiwumbo gy'emmere bagitwala.
It's party time every day at 4:30 p.m. Feel the music. Try out your favorite dance strokes. Watch the latest music videos from artists around the world as you dance to the beat.
Girl, you got me screaming fiesta. Body language saying what.
Next with Agnes Nandutu bringing us the man of God, Father Walakira, who led the Christians of St. Balikudembe Catholic Church into battle for the land instead of leading them to a righteous life. Here is point blank.
Bite off.
Hey! I am the man who can just look at the woman and she gets pregnant. Where did you train from?
You should leave issues of the generals to the generals.
You want another rap?
Yeah, Susan.
Moses led the children of Israel into the promised land. But Father Warakira is leading Christians of St. Balikudembe Catholic Church to a battleground. Men and women, the young and the old are ready for the battle to redeem their church land. Oh, women are fearless when it comes to matters of land. Lock yourself! Lock yourself! They are gonna kill you, man. Pray hard, for the Bible says the battle is not yours. Unfortunately, Father Olakira has made the battle yours. The man of God who understands the Bible. Can you imagine? Now that you have won the battle, amen, amen, amen. In the same spirit, Kampala councillors confronted the land office. But men of the people, this office was closed by the woman in charge of this city. Who are you to open it? Anyway, it is also written in the Bible that the kingdom of heaven is taken by the violent. So use the violence, but the long arm of the law will be at work sometime. That is why I like these students from Makerere. They will always follow the constitution to demand for their rights. And their main task here is to clean this place. I hear it is very, very dirty.
You can see this is part of the garbage that police keeps dumping here. And this is the professional police that Kaihura always brags that he has. So as we clean this place, your policemen eat from here, they dirt this place. It's all smelling of urine and poo-poo.
Kaihura's men can do that everywhere they go. They are not afraid of poo. No. Maybe it sounds better in English. They are not afraid of Officer, put it right for me.
Police work is not a white-collar job that we are fearing feces.
They don't fear that thing. In Busia, they even cleaned a man who did it at court.
Even if they use kilos of feces, we shall always go ahead and take them to court on evidence.
Indeed, you don't fear that thing. The other time you took it to Dr. Vesige's home and to him it was strange. But for you it is normal.
If we have been going to the levels of picking children who have been dropped in toilets, what about such a person?
Afande Kaihura, you should be proud of your force. In fact, you should increase their salaries. They are doing a great job. But they have to wait until the movement house is constructed because it is President Yoweri Museveni's priority #1 in this term. So, Mr. President, how much will you personally contribute to the construction of this house?
In my personal capacity as Museveni, I told you I'm not very liquid with cash, but I am a rich man.
Of course we know. After 26 years in power, why can't you be rich, my president? Just tell us how much you will contribute to our house.
I will contribute 200 million shillings.
And now your members have a cause to celebrate. The Information Minister, Madam Mere Karoro, show us the Western connection. The girl from the landslides you cannot handle. Wanyala mai. Agnes Nandutu. Point blank.
Light off. Hey! I am the man who can just look at the woman and she gets pregnant. Where did you train from?
You should leave issues of the journals to the journals.
You want another rap?
Yeah, Susan.
Point blank with Agnes Nandutu. Now let's take you back to tonight's NTV Weekend Poll. We asked you, what do you make of the rising number of nullifications of MP seats? Thank you all so much for your contributions. Let's take a look at some more responses. Dan Aniku says it reaffirms Dr. Olara Otonu's fears about competence of Dr. Chigundu's commission, failure by the commission to address fraud prior to elections. The process, however, portrays justice in the judiciary. Michael Aboneka says, before we start apportioning blame, we should understand that the power behind secret ballot is manifestation of participatory democracy. The right to vote should be taken with great caution. And Innocent Vida says, those are political games. The EC should get serious and stop wasting taxpayers' money through by-elections. Well, thank you so much for all of your responses. Let's take a quick look at Saturday's projected weather. That weather report concludes NTV Weekend Edition for tonight. I'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. Keep it right here on NTV.
This is NTV. This is NTV.